Hi, I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Rihanna, and welcome back to Fresh Off the Broke.
Fresh Off the Broke is about personal experiences growing up Asian American in a predominantly white community, Asian media, and Asian pop culture in general. Race has always been a sensitive topic. Every day there are debates over race. With our podcast, we intend to shed light on the experiences of first-generation Asian immigrants, not put them on a pedestal.
We understand that race isn't everything, but there should be an acknowledgement of people of color, the knowledge gap, and the racial divide that will ideally be broken. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the episode. Today we will be discussing Asian fishing. Now, I am unsure if you guys are familiar with the term Asian fishing. You might have heard it going around the internet. I know that this term got a little bit more, I guess, mainstream with Ariana Grande and her, I guess, controversial picture of her. I can't remember if she's crouching, but people do think that she is.
Yeah, I think she was crouching.
Yeah,
we can put it up on the screen. It was an interesting moment.
It was.
I was conflicted.
Yeah, because everyone was saying that she was Asian fishing. So, for those of you who may not know what Asian fishing is, it's pretty closely related to cultural appropriation, and it is when people of non-Asian descent use makeup, photo editing, and clothing to purposefully appear East Asian. And you might be familiar with other terms, such as blackfishing. It's the same thing, just different groups.
Now, why are we talking about this? Why do we care? I feel like we're doing, an essay outline where they tell you to fight for your argument. They're like, why should the reader care about this?
Yeah. Why should I take your side of the argument?
Yeah, exactly. This is Argumentative Essay 101.
Yeah.
Asian fishing edition. Anyway.
God.
The reason why we are talking about this and why this is like a pertinent issue is because, throughout, since the beginning of time, there's been an issue of people taking traits from various ethnic groups and playing around with them and kind of using them to their advantage when they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's extremely insensitive and also infuriating in the sense that they're the same traits that many people of color, we're specifically talking about Asian people because Asian fishing, that they get made fun of for, but then suddenly it becomes a very trendy trait and then people pretend to have them or pretend to have like this trait.
Yeah.
For example, growing up, I had people make extremely gross, like small eye jokes or jokes about East Asian people having very flat faces and stuff like that, saying that this specific thing hasn't been said to me, but some people will say things like, oh, like your face is like a plate because it's very flat or like this and that. And I'm saying it in a nicer way than they said it.
Yeah.
And so it's just saddening and frustrating to see because you have these things that people get made fun of for, but then all of a sudden the people that made fun of them for it turn around. They're like, wow, having eyes that look like this or having a nose that looks like this or having big lips and this and that is so cool and trendy, and that's like the in look.
Yeah.
And it also plays into the whole thing of people fetishizing and romanticizing the idea of having mixed children, right? Because they want to be able to pick and choose. This doesn't only happen with white people, but the main issue lies in white people specifically wanting mixed babies. For example, a white person wants to be with an Asian person because they think it would be so cool if their kid had very quote unquote Asian eyes or like hair, but then they still maintain these certain European features, right?
Even in half white, half black children, they're very like, oh, like my child is gonna have darker tanned skin, but it's not gonna be dark, and they're gonna have curly hair, but it might be like lighter in color. It's so cute.
Yeah, it's just so weird isn't the right word, but it just feels
Icky.
Yeah, because this isn't a Sims game. Why are we
Yeah.
picking and choosing? And also, you have to understand the experience of actually having those traits, and it goes beyond just bullying. Because, I mean, if you think about the history of the just harassment and the things that people with like East Asian people and the small eye stereotype. I mean, think about how people say like chink, and because the term itself means slit, right? And then there was the whole imagery of comparing East Asian people to rats because of their small eyes, like beady black eyes or something like that. And there's like there's this historical background, because the old propaganda posters of showing East Asian people as rats, or literally calling them rats, or chinks and this and that and the other thing. And so for people to just completely not care or ignore that and be like, oh wow, like look at me, because to them they wear it for a day, or they can always take it off.
Yeah.
I can't take off my features.
Yeah, I can't change the way that I look.
Yeah, and it's the same thing where how so with the ongoing extreme peak in anti-Asian hate crime, there's lots of Asian people, young and old, that are very on edge when they're on the street. And so me, as someone that looks and is very Asian in a sense, if you know what I mean, like I present as a Chinese person.
Yes.
And I can't hide that the way that someone that dresses up or makes themselves look more Asian for quote unquote aesthetic purposes, I would get clocked per se very easily. But they could just, if they're afraid of people thinking they're Asian or whatever, it's just, okay, remove it. I can't do that.
Let's stop pretending to be Asian for a day, essentially.
Yeah.
Or even just when like the whole fad of, for example, like the fox eye trend, once that's over, it's like, oh, well, it's not in style anymore. People think it's ugly now. I can stop doing it again. But I can't. That's the natural shape of my eyes. So first you're going to make fun of me, then say, oh, look at me. My eyes are small and sharp and foxy and I look good doing it. But then the next day you're going to go back and say, no, it's not cool anymore because I said so. Essentially, that's what this is. That's what trends are, because certain groups of people say so. It just is.
Yeah, and someone's ethnicity isn't a trend, and people don't understand that. People always oversimplify it because they're like, we're just appreciating. And okay, sometimes you are, but you don't have to always get so defensive about it. Sometimes I understand, and that people don't like being called racist because there's in their heart there's lots of implications. Like, I'm not a bad person, I'm not this and that. But you don't have to be a very evil and mean spirit sometimes
Yeah.
They are, and even worse than that. But you don't have to be this extremely evil person to be racist. You can just be ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
And many people are ignorant. We're all ignorant to a certain extent in a, like, I don't even know, like in a million different types of things beyond race.
Yeah.
And the way that sometimes people oversimplify, especially when they're being defensive, and like you were saying about the fox eye trend, people will say like, oh, we're just doing an eyeliner look. So you're saying if I can't do my eyeliner sharp, or I can't make it long and pointy like this, because then I'm trying to look Asian. No, that's not what it's about.
No, it's not.
It's never just been about wearing eyeliner. Because I mean, cat eye, this and that, those are real looks. And a foxy eyeliner in itself is not people
Asian
pretending to, that's not what it is.
No.
It's like the fox eye trend where people, well, both with their hand and also with eyeliner, of them like purposely raising their eyes so that they achieve this look. And it does very much mimic the like stereotypical East Asian eye shape, right? And one thing that I also kind of found annoying was that some of these people would be like, you're the one that's racist for even thinking that's an like, Asian
it's your fault for thinking that.
Can you not? You know that's not what this is about.
No.
What you're reaching.
Yeah. Also, we're the Asian ones saying it, so why are we racist for saying that you are mocking us? You know, like that doesn't logistically. I don't follow.
Yeah, like obviously not every East Asian person has the exact same eye shape. But there's people with rounder eyes, there's people with more almond-shaped eyes, this, that, and the other thing. We have monolids, double eyelids, you know. But that's not the point.
Yeah. At least
if you have to go on these random tangents and roads, then
you are doing something wrong. If you have to reach and defend yourself like heavily, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, it's just
I guess if you're not familiar with the fox eye trend, the picture of Ariana Grande that we brought up just a little bit ago, she is kind of doing like a more foxy type of eye look, and that was one of the main aspects of why people were saying she was Asian fishing. It's her eyeliner, as well as I think some people were arguing that the way that she dressed was very stereotypically East Asian, or at least like followed East Asian fashion trends. And people also pointed out that I think it's a filter. I'm pretty sure it's a filter, but her skin looks a lot lighter. Again, closer to how East Asian people look, or at least like the what's it called? Beauty standards of East Asians, like light skin, the foxy eyes, and like quote unquote East Asian clothing, trendy clothing. Also, just to note, a lot of people were pointing out that Ariana Grande, it seems that it's a pattern because she was accused of blackfishing in the past. Yeah, she heavily like tans her skin and stuff like that. And people are saying,
also have the run-in with the Japanese tattoo.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Which we talked about in an old episode. We talked about this in the Stop Google Translating Your Tattoos episode, which you should check out. I like that episode.
That was a fun episode.
Yeah. Very funny examples of gone wrong tattoos and some possibly gone right tattoos.
But yeah, so people are just keeping track of her track record, and I guess people think it makes sense. Like, she was blackfishing before. She had the whole tattoo thing. And now that I guess people are saying like K-pop is on the rise, and I guess also anime is on the rise, she decides to Asian fish.
Hmm. In terms of her track record, like I do agree that she was blackfishing, because
Yeah.
literally when she was standing next to Nicki Minaj at a concert, they looked, if you look at the pictures, they literally look the exact same color, which is an issue.
Yeah.
And also, if you look at her magazine covers, Ariana Grande, they're a lot, she looks a lot paler. But
Yeah.
then when she's doing all these things for, I don't know, promotional reasons or concerts or whatever, her skin is a lot darker. So what does that say about classism and colorism?
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
It's complicated.
It is.
I don't know. When I thought, I was conflicted. If you want what I just said, actually, you could just stay on the record. I don't really care. Okay, I kind of understand what you were saying, but also like, what about it really? It's just he's wearing like a blazer and then like stocking and these heels.
Yeah.
And like, okay, maybe the ribbon, but have you seen ribbons back in like pilgrimage or
Yeah.
that?
Not
How
like
do
a
you say that word?
exclusively Asian thing. Also, I don't know, it's just such a weird mix because given her track record, I fully like it makes sense if she were doing this on purpose because
Yeah,
the
exactly.
trends and all that. However, like in the photos, she is not really doing anything like, in the fox eye trend, people always pull their eyes back. Ariana's not really
Yeah, or
doing
they
anything
do a
like that.
specific pose. And
Yeah.
I feel the same way. It's just a very interesting situation, and it's
Yeah.
very iffy because it's not like she's never
Done anything bad.
played around
Yeah.
with making herself look a different race.
Yeah.
But in this particular photo, because I'm willing to open my mind and see other times that she might have possibly Asian fish. But
Mhm.
these two photos in particular, I don't know if I really see anything in them much.
Yeah. I agree.
And there was a video I saw of this person, this East Asian person saying that it was something like, I was freaking out because I saw this and I thought it was me. And I'm, what do you mean you thought it was you
Yeah.
specifically? I'm not saying I understand what you're trying to say, but no.
Yeah, that's
And
an
the thing is, I
interesting way to
don't
put it.
want, because neither of us want to very aggressively defend her, and we're not really trying to defend her. It's
No,
more
we're not.
examining the situation in
Yeah,
itself.
like trying to put it as objectively as possible right now.
Yeah, and this although the clothes, I don't know if I can really say that it's very quote unquote East Asian. I kind of understand where people are coming from in terms of color palette and stuff.
Yeah.
But what she's wearing isn't exactly exclusively just
Oh yeah,
100%.
exactly. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
Comment down below how you guys feel about it.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Let us know.
confusing. I mean, two things. One thing is there have been people putting together different pictures of her from different like eras of when she was, for example, when she was black fishing, when she was Asian fishing, and then when she was just a white girl. And she looks very different
Yeah, she does.
in all of those photos, which is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna disagree because I mean I never agree. No, I never disagreed. That's what I meant to say. And then another thing that kind of added to the multiple layers of the situation is Oli London. I don't know how many of our listeners are aware of Oli London, but Oli London is I don't like talking about him. I mean, we haven't really talked about him on the podcast, but I don't like talking about him because I feel like you're giving him the time of day or you're giving him more attention, which is kind of the whole what he wants. So he is this person that went viral on the internet. He's a British internet personality. And he went viral for getting plastic surgery to look like Jimin from BTS.
Mm-hmm.
That was his breakout story or his breakout moment.
Yeah. And then they like interviewed him, and it turns out he like married a cardboard cutout of Jimin and all that. And yeah.
And recently, I think last year or some time ago, he had randomly announced that he was transracial, which is the belief that some people have where they can
become another race.
Yeah, which is an issue on multiple levels because it's also insensitive to the transgender community because it's not
so
about
harmful.
It's not about becoming something else.
You cannot change your race.
I mean, he do be trying.
Yeah, he really does.
And unfortunately for Miss Grande, I don't know why I called her Miss Grande. Unfortunately for her, he made a Twitter post. Oli London did in support of Ariana Grande, and it was a lot. And listen, I don't know him personally, so I can't guarantee that I'm correct. But something about this reads a little bit satirical or just a little bit doing it on purpose.
Yeah, it is important to note that Oli London like is somewhat of an internet troll. Like,
yeah,
obviously, like getting surgery to look like Jimin and all this is very like that's an issue and that's pretty serious because you're getting plastic surgery. That's a permanent decision. But internet wise, like the personality on the internet is very trolly. It's very like I'm gonna do this so people like I stay relevant type thing.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. And that's why this reads so odd. I'll also have this up on the screen for people that want to see it for themselves. So Oli London made a tweet saying, "I'm so in love with Ariana Grande's new Asian look. It looks so cute and oriental. Welcome to the, in all caps, transracial club, Ari. So happy to have you join me. Can we become the king and queen of Korea together already?" And then there was the crown emoji, queen emoji, king emoji, and hashtag Oli London, hashtag Ariana Grande, hashtag transracial.
See, I really, really want to believe that Oli London is just doing all of this for the sake of trolling the internet, because that would be funny. It reads like someone who is upset at Ariana for doing that and is just being very, very satirical. Like it's almost a joke. But it's just the fact that Oli London, like, no one knows if he's serious or not. The plastic surgery, man, it's such a big role. Like you can't really tell if it's trolling or not. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know him, but I think it was, I don't know, I get the vibe that it started off serious with the wanting to become Jimin, but then because of the fame, or I don't know, I mean, I guess you can call it fame, because fame isn't always positive. Because of the fame and everything that had happened with like internet traction and this and that, he wanted more.
Yeah.
And so he would go out there and do all these things, just like going on Dr. Phil or this and
Became a
that.
brand.
And this, because it's not like he's not aware of what people
he knows.
think and say about him. He's aware. And so I feel like he kind of used him, he weaponized his own image against Ariana to show people. Because if he supports it, then people would be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Even Oli London, damn girl, you can't do this.
Yeah.
You lost. You really embarrassed yourself there.
Yeah. That is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's an iffy situation. Like Brianna said, leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts about it. It's so complicated. There's so many layers to it. It's not really a one-off thing. Yeah.
And it kind of draws into the whole like issue of Asian fishing, because where do you draw the line? It is so unclear.
Not the eyeliner. I'm kidding.
Oh God.
Apologies for the cheesy pun, everyone.
I could appreciate a good pun. That was good. But yeah, like, where do you draw the line? For example, Asian fishing. Is someone Asian fishing if you are not Asian and you are just enjoying Asian fashion or makeup? Is that Asian fishing? If you're using Asian makeup looks, or I guess, East Asian makeup trends, if you're partaking in all of these, are you Asian fishing?
Yeah, I've seen makeup tutorial of non-Asian people showing people how to do Douyin makeup or insert. I mean, Douyin isn't a trend. Douyin is the original TikTok app from China. But I've seen videos of non-Asian people teaching people how to do trending East Asian makeup looks without actually altering their features, and it's just emulating the color palettes and stuff, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're nice makeup looks and you can easily do them.
Yeah.
And not easily as in makeup is super easy and whatever, but you can easily learn and do these things without altering your appearance to look like another race. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then there's those people that do the makeup, but then they also go out of their way to just somehow change their eye shape all of a sudden, or change the shape of. I mean, for the most part, when it comes to Asian fishing, the emphasis is on what they do with their eyes, in a sense. And I don't necessarily mean that as an eyeliner, but how do they shape and how do they work with their eyes? Because there's things they do, their nose, lips, but it's usually the eyes that give it away. Yeah. In a sense.
And it's also complicated with the eyes, because some people do believe that if you are not Asian and you are emphasizing your tear bags, that is Asian fishing. When, like, personally, I don't think that's Asian fishing. Like, everyone has a tear bag, just some people it's not emphasized, and some people it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's such there's so many gray areas, but for the most part, it's pretty clear when this is especially prominent in like the cosplay community and stuff like that. Well, I guess the makeup community as well, but like face tape and taping your eyes back. So you basically take two pieces of tape on either side of your, like, near your temples, like beside your eyes, tape it to the skin there, and then pull the tape back and then tape it to the back of your head, or like pin it to your hair or whatever. And it just, people say that it gives you like a face, like a facelift without any like altercations to your face in terms of plastic surgery, but it's straight up just taping your eyes back when done in the case of Asian fishing. Because I have seen like face tape lifts that is just literally just like getting rid of like wrinkles and like making your skin look tighter, and especially on older people, like it's just a facelift, literally just a facelift. But then especially in the cosplay community, they're gonna cosplay as like an anime character, take some face tape, pull their eyes back so it literally, like when they blink, you can see that they are struggling to blink because it's such an unnatural position for their eyes to be in. Okay, all that aside though, I do think that one of the like bigger complications is when people use this term very, very loosely and they just throw it around on social media. Because if you are claiming that someone is Asian fishing when they're genuinely just existing, people aren't going to take that term seriously. Because it's always, if you're always like, it's like the boy who cried wolf, right? Boy cries wolf. Wolf isn't there. Now when the wolf is there, no one believes him and he gets eaten by the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, it's just
Very deep.
calling Asian fishing. And now when someone is actually Asian fishing and it's an issue, people are going to take it seriously because it's like, well, Asian fishing is not even a serious term anyways.
Yeah, it's crazy because I've seen Asian people be accused of Asian fishing.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because people have, and so another thing that we might want to introduce as well. So there's a figure of speech called chronically online.
Yes.
And it's a term used to describe someone that might be like a bit more sheltered. They usually stay at home, or yeah. And they're always online, chronically online. They're always online on their phone or on the computer, and they're always scrolling through like social media, like YouTube, this and that. Predominantly, it has been attached to people that are always on TikTok, just because of the way that TikTok algorithm is so strong, and it's very easy to just be assigned a rabbit hole, and then you're in it forever. And so someone that's chronically online, like I was saying, they're stuck in that rabbit hole, and because they don't typically go out, they just stay within the confines of that world. And because they're in those confines, they start internalizing all these things, like sometimes outlandish things that you wouldn't necessarily see in like the quote unquote real world. And then it turns into a situation where sometimes they react too quickly to certain things, or some people get brainwashed into thinking, like what we were saying, how did Asian people suddenly start getting accused of Asian fishing?
Yeah.
If someone, and I mean, we haven't done a face reveal, but if someone came up to me and asked me if I was Asian fishing, what? I am Asian. I am not fishing at this very moment.
Just Asian, unless I am fishing. Like, actually fishing for fish.
That would be a funny t-shirt.
It would.
Yeah. Not
I'm
Asian
fishing.
Yeah. I think I've seen people make skits or memes of Asian, like an Asian person fishing, like Asian fishing. And someone's like, that's so offensive, like in the skit or whatever.
Yeah, that's not allowed.
Yeah. I would love that. We should
Should invest in
not actually, but I like the t-shirt thing.
Yeah, that's funny.
Just Asian not fishing.
Yeah.
Or actually, it wouldn't work the other way around if you said not Asian. Wait, no. Was it
Not
just
Asian, just fishing, and it's just like some person's dad like fishing in a boat.
Yeah. And she would get
Fishing shirt.
confused. Like, what do you mean you're not Asian? Like, what does that have to do with anything? Yeah. That's the factory. It's a factory defect.
Mhm.
They messed up the order of the word. Or did they?
Yeah, chronically online people, very quick to label things incorrectly, I'd say. For the most part.
Yeah. It's become a prominent issue, especially with quarantine, just because so many people were indoors and stuck inside for so long that people really did start living on the internet.
Yeah.
Many people did, just in general.
Yeah. TikTok getting very, very popular. It just breeding ground for just chronically online people. Not like that. I mean, like for making more chronically online people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like you were saying, it reduces, well, not value in a sense, but it reduces the gravity of the situation when you just call any and every person an Asian fisher. That sounds weird. Asian fisher.
Yeah.
I mean, there are Asian fishers that exist.
There are.
Fishermen.
Yeah. But yeah, it just people, I know for a fact that people already do think that terms like Asian fishing, black fishing is a chronically online thing or a chronically online term, which they are not, but they are used by people who are chronically online in the worst ways possible.
Yeah. Gosh, the amount of Asian people that I've seen be accused of Asian fishing. Remember, there was this one, I think it was on TikTok, where this East Asian girl, she got this comment being like, "You're not even Asian. How can you?" And then I forget the rest, but it was probably something about the trend in itself of Asian fishing. And she was so confused. She was like, I'm just like a white girl. Oh wait, no, what did I just say? No, I'm just an Asian person. Like, why are you telling me that I'm Asian fishing? I'm just an Asian person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Asian, not fishing.
So embarrassing to see stuff like that. Oh, also I've seen people attacking like Black women on social media. I've seen it on TikTok in specific. People saying that these like Black women are Asian fishing because they like Asian fashion, Asian like culture in general. But it really just is a case of cultural appreciation. And even that, like I've seen people really targeting these Black women, and it reveals like underlying issues of like stereotypes towards these Black women as well. Like they're really just dressing cutesy. I guess like the cutesy like Japanese fashion, it's not limited to just Japanese people. Like if I wanted to dress cutesy, I could. If anyone wanted to dress cutesy, they could. But because these Black women don't fit the stereotype, they're being accused of things like Asian fishing and stuff like that. Like a whole other layer to this issue.
Yeah, and like you were saying, it's odd because I also have seen that, and it's really just them embracing a different fashion style. And I mean, exceptions apply, obviously, but the ones that the types of people we're talking about right now, I basically never see them like trying to alter their features and this and that. It's more just them putting on a pastel dress.
Literally,
And
like they're not doing
and
anything
the
else.
thing is that because of the stereotype put out by society of Black women being these very like from the street people with this very specific and like street style and this and that. Well, not every single Black person has to, and also not every single Black person does dress like that. Like, come on, just because they're dressed in pastel doesn't mean they're trying to be Asian. Maybe they just like pastel.
Yeah, exactly. And this applies to every single group of people. Like no one is limited to their stereotype. Like what?
Yeah, it's so backward in a sense.
And it's so like it's funny when these like chronically online people do that, because it's like you think you are doing like social justice work, but you are doing the complete opposite. You are making it worse. If you are listening at home and you are wondering, well, what can I do? This situation is such a ginormous gray area. I don't know what to do. I think the main takeaway is just don't speak over the people who are being affected. So, for example, Asians in the context of Asian fishing or Black people in the context of Black fishing. Don't speak for them. Listen to what they say about the situation. And then, if you really feel the need to, say something afterwards. Because, like, we understand that some people are just trying to be, like, helpful. There's no ill intent, but sometimes it does a lot more damage than it should.
Sometimes people mean well and then they don't do well.
Yeah, just they end up doing the opposite by accident. Like, we get it. Everyone is learning, but just don't speak over the people who need to speak.
Yeah, time to pull up with them critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Problem solving, decision making. I don't know if there's anything else on that list. But it's just, I mean, the episode in itself and what we were saying, everything is one giant lump of a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's complicated because of the way that this thing has been oversimplified, simplified, or actually I don't know if that's, but anyway, been oversimplified, overcomplicated. Just I mean it happens when you have newer terms or phenomena that people are trying to study or describe and outline into I guess clear and concise thoughts. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, I mean, even for us as Asian people, we don't always necessarily know what to do. It's a complicated situation. Sometimes you're like, okay, do I want to go and like yell at someone? Well, not really. I don't really feel like doing that.
I mean, as much as like you could inform the person, like this is harmful, whatever, like some people just don't care and you can't really do anything about that, especially because it's like online. Like what?
That's the thing with the online world, is so secular. Yeah. Like we've been saying throughout the episode, if you have any thoughts about this personally, any insight, whether it be from someone that is a frequenter of popular social media apps or someone that feels like they've been heavily affected by the Asian fishing. I don't know if I want to say Asian fishing trend, but just this
phenomenon.
Yeah, this phenomenon of Asian fishing. Just as always, feel free to comment down below. I mean, at the end of every episode, I'm always here to say thanks for tuning in, because we're always thankful for you for tuning in, and we're always happy to hear your thoughts, your qualms, do you have any your beefs that you have
any beef.
with Asian fishing.
Understandable.
And I mean, it's a learning process for everyone, because like I said, Asian fishing is a newer term and people are still really outlining it. So even if I myself am confused, I can always, I guess that's a little complicated because I am Asian, but you get the idea. If I were confused about something, I could do some research and practice some critical thinking.
And see what other people think and general consensus.
Yeah, it's an ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
And I do hope it gets a little easier, just in the sense that people aren't always fighting all the time. So,
well, if you guys like this episode and want to stay connected with us, check out our website in the description. It contains links to our streaming platforms such as Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and more. Follow us for more behind-the-scenes content, announcements, and other random things we decide to put on there.
See you next time.